Ladies and gentlemen, hello again, and I am back. And I will discuss today about grammar, or what is grammar, or how important grammar is, or how to teach grammar. Okay, so basically, the whole semester, or the whole, I should say, term that we had is about discussion of grammar and parts, structure, English, language, all of those. So how to realize them. Okay, so basically, what is grammar, by the way? Let's go back into what we discussed last time. First of all, grammar. This is the language user's subconscious internal system. Uh, do you know that one? It is the subconscious because we cannot see it and we cannot always use it. Like we are speaking, but we are not always mindful. We are not always thinking what grammar should we use, or what letter should we use, what word should we use. But sometimes when we talk, it's just it flows consistently, like, or continuously, without hesitation, without like thinking or rethinking. And that's the grammar. Another one is what is grammar? It is the linguistics attempt to describe the system. And what are those systems? First, the system of sounds of language. So let's go back to our first discussion last time. What is the sound? What is the sounds of language? That is the phonology. So, Sir Jet, is phonology related to grammar? Simply say big yes, because um, from the very basic, why we have language right now is from the sound that we produce using our mouth, using our vocal cords, using our nostril, using our voice. From phonology, which is the sound, we combine sound to produce a phoneme. And after phoneme, we combine each sound plus sound to form large amount of sound. And this large amount of sound is what we call the morphology, since a lot of sound will become a word. So we are going to study the structure of the sound to produce a word. So that will be the morphology, how to form a word using the sound. Then after that one, we have the morphology, we have the words. What if we try to add these words? So we are able to come up with the syntax, the arrangement of words into larger units. So we have the syntax of um, from phrases like word plus word. For example, a determiner plus a noun, like the kid will be a noun phrase. So there's a lot of phrases: noun phrase, prepositional phrase, adjective phrase, adverbial phrase, verb phrase, noun phrase. Then after phrases, we have clause, and clause are composed of independent and dependent clause. And after having the clause, uh, clause can be considered as a sentence, or clause plus another clause can come up into a sentence. But mag-end ba ta directly dira sa sentence, everyone? So what's the purpose of grammar? Another purpose of grammar is uh, attempt to describe a system of meanings of language. So after we created the foundation, we created the sentences, the group of words, the group of sounds into sentences. It what comes after is the semantics. We need to identify the meaning of the language, because the sentence is the language itself. From from sound to words to sentence, that's the language. So the grammar itself, the sentence itself is not enough. So we need to we need to understand what's the meaning behind that sentence, what's beyond that, beyond that words, what's beyond that lines, what's on that line, what's in that line. Okay, so that's the semantics. And after realizing it, like, oh, I get the meaning of this one. What should we do? So that will be the last part of the grammar. Why we need to discuss or to learn grammar is we need to describe uh, the system of functions of language and how it is used in context. So if we have sentences, we need to use it in different situations. We need to use it in different contexts, like not about Philippine context or British or American context, but a situational context, like what will you do or what you should say when you encountered older than you. What how do you say the words or the intonations or the functions when you talk to your um, principal, you talk to your best friend, you talk to your grandma, you talk to your parents, you talk to the strangers. So basically, the functions of language really differs with the level or with the situation that we are dealing to. If we are comfortable with someone, we can easily say or comfortably uh, talk to them. But if they are stranger, so we need to be more careful. So that's it. From phonology, sound, morphology to word, then syntax to words or the sentences. Then after the sentences, we need to identify the meaning. And if we know the meaning, uh, we know how to use it or how to absorb from other people that you using it. So that's the importance why we need to understand grammar. Okay. So another one is grammar is the system of language, and people sometimes describe grammar as the rules of the language because basically rules are the patterns. So when we talk about SVA grammar, so it's a rule, a pattern, like everyone should follow. Uh, but in fact, no language has rule. Oh, there's no language existing that has rules. No language has rules. Okay. The thing is, if we use the word rules, okay, again, if we use the word rules, we suggest that somebody created the rules first and then spoke the language, like a new game. But language or languages do not start like that. Languages started by people making sounds, which evolved into words, then phrases, then sentences. Then no commonly spoken language is fixed. Like all language change over time, and it is called arbitrary. Language is arbitrary. All languages change over time, from time to time to time to time. What we call grammar is simply a reflection of a language at a particular time. So that's the reason why we have Philippine context or um, Philippine context, Marian context, British context, because though we get English as international, it means to say that if we have this English language, everyone uh, can use it, and everyone should know how to use it, and everyone should know how to understand it. That's why it is being selected as the international language. But what will happen if the Pinoy or the Filipino, the Pinoy, Filipino or the Filipino, like the Filipino language, is being selected as the international language? So, is there a lot of advantages or disadvantages? Disadvantages, or what should I say? Advantage sa ato pero sa uban it would really difficult because in Philippines we get a lot of dialects, we get a lot of varieties, like at Tagalog pero merong ganito, or Bisaya pero inani. So there's a lot of like um, mix of languages. So it changes from time from time to time or over time. And next is grammar is the mental system of rules. So though we are teaching, and that is not mental because there's SVA and syntax and all of them na makita nato na oh mo ni ang rules, but ideally grammar is a mental system of rules and categories that allows humans to form and interpret the words and sentences of their language. It simply means to say that uh, grammar is like the pattern that we have in our mind. Maybe it is being taught to us or being acquired by us, but it is a mental process that we have patterns in our head, and it is our way, or it is in our end to realize it, to use it. Like it depends on us how to use it, and so that's why it is important to have uh, grammar. So right now, what we have here is why teaching grammar. I hope na makita ninyo ni, but I will just give you this presentation para ma-zoom ninyo or makita ninyo ang PowerPoint. So why teaching grammar? So though I said earlier na naay mga important ways to teach grammar or the reason why we teach grammar, but here are some of the like listed reasons from our researches and from our linguistics or uh, not by grammarist, I don't know. So these are the examples. We have sentence machine argument, sentence machine argument. We have the fine tuning argument, the fossilization argument, the advanced organizer argument, curriculum, the discrete item argument, the rule of argument, the larger expectation argument. So basically, all of these arguments are typically or like specifically the reason why we need to teach grammar. Okay, so we will discuss these one by one. So if you are like if you want to read it by yourself, kanina table, just pause this one because I will just discuss all of these in a voice manner or in verbally because daghan kay siya. So right now, let's start with asa man ta mag-start dito sa sentence machine, kaning pinakataas, okay? So natay item learning, memorization of individual phrases, limit to number of items a person can retain. So mo ni ang bali ang kani class is morning tree diagram na to, di ba? So natay sentence machine argument, and ang sentence machine argument na to mo ni ang mga kuan, mo ni ang kanang nature niya. Okay? So um the sentence machine argument, a part of the process of language learning must be what is sometimes called item learning, and that is memorization of individual items such as words or phrases. So basically, sentence machine argument is somehow simply put to say like there's a lot of items na atong ma-remember, pero na daghan pag kayo mga items na dili na to ma-remember. Like we there is a limit to the number of items we can both retain and retrieve, especially during sa anong time maglet na mo, like the exam, and you need to review because what you learned from your first year until your fourth year could like you know simply put to say malimtan gamay, and you need to review it, you need to refresh it. So you need to review, and during that review you need to memorize it, especially the basic, the what you call that one, the identification part. Just uh, what are the example of this, then what is the meaning of this, or what you say the objective, like name the three things of a noun. So nana siya, what are the parts of speeches. So nana siya, like these are the item learning. Okay, so that's the reason why we need to teach grammar, the sentence machine argument. So basically, it is not just about being a teacher, but basically from the beginning of being a kid, we went to kindergarten, to elementary, to secondary. All of those are the sentence machine argument. Like teacher taught about this one, about this one, about this one, and we are just absorbing. And I don't know kung siguro maka-remember ba mo kung unsa ang pinaka first topic na gi-discuss niyo tong grade 1, or how about last topic na gi-discuss ka tong grade 6? Or how about katong pinakauna nimong naansiran na tama during sa college? Di ba, murag lisod kayo i-retain. Like, maglisod tag-retrieve kung unsa to. Di ba? So, grammar, after all, is a description of regularities in language, and knowledge of these regularities provides the learner with a means to generate a potential enormous number of original sentences. So, when we try to generate like item learning, like we are the machine, sentence machine, we are gathering word, another word from from or when we were still a kid, and after that, learning a word, we can create another like a group. I mean, a group of words. Like we can create another sentence with the use of that word. Kasi pag isa lang na siya, we can modify in our sentence and we can create that one. Ina na siya ba? Okay. The number of possible new sentences is constrained only by the vocabulary at the learner's command and his or her creativity. So basically, um, we're as example, katong mga reader. Okay, I know since we are English teachers or you are all future educators, I best believe that there's there's a part sa imong life na you like to read, or maybe you read like biskan pag chismis na or dili, you still read. So during that reading, what you earned is the vocabulary, not just the understanding, but the whole words, like those words, even how familiar or how strange or how unfamiliar it is, those are vocabularies. Okay, so in sentence machine argument, that's the reason why this is argument, because we need to not debate it, but we need to discuss it thoroughly. Those vocabulary that you earned during your reading, uh, that that is the part where grammar intercepts. Like grammar is a kind of sentence making machine. So after all your after um, I mean acquiring all the vocabulary, you can have your sentence making, and it really depends on you how you create your sentence, about how creative you are, how specific you are, how pointless, how meaningful you are. But still, in the overall, why we should teach grammar is in order for us to have the sentence machine argument. Okay, so grammar is a kind of sentence machine argument, a machine, sentence making machine, and it follows that the teaching of grammar offers the learner the means for potentiality, limitless linguistic creativity. That's why, uh, like based on the research, like years ago, the more reader you are, the more how creative you are in writing. Though some people negates the argument na you can write even you are not that kind of a reader. But basically or ideally, when you write, it follow through your. When you read, it will follow your writing. So when you are good in writing, it is easily for you to read because you know how to write, you know how the construction. So it is easy for you to understand what you are reading. So that is the sentence machine argument. Next, another one is we have the fine tuning argument. Okay. Balaka ko ba kung ba ko nag-record kay taas-taas na to. Okay, the fine tuning argument. The fine tuning argument, the purpose of grammar seems to be to allow for greater subtlety of meaning than a merely lexical system can cater for. So basically, when we read this, the fine tuning argument, grammar allows for greater subtlety of meaning. Grammar serves as corrective against ambiguities. So from the word itself, fine, then tune, like tune up, fine tuning. So the fine tuning argument, the reason why we need to like learn grammar because of this fine tuning argument, because fine tuning argument is like um, this is the way or the ideal way how to make sure that what we are reading or what we are listening or what we are writing or what we are trying to understand uh, is grammatically correct or lexically correct, like lexical, do katong mga mga word, or functionally, like function, correct, or form, correct. So that's it. Like you are fine tuning in. Like while it is possible to get a lot of communication malu out of your simply stringing words and phrase together, uh, there comes a time or there comes a point na ang language will fail. Diba? Tungod kay, for example, nakay na ano, nakay na ano na encounter na hungo, kanang familiar mo ng hungo class. Do not like ayun ninyo sila kataw ikay maglisod sila communicate yun, luoy kay sila. So mag ha 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 na sila pero mosulod ang fine tuning indriya kay you daw na mga hungo na makasulti pero you are trying your best to understand them. Di ba maningkamot magitag understand gani kung makita tag ka ng kung di ba dili ka balo mo storya or sa tawan na ka ng um, deaf ba na or sabi kalimot ko sabat na mute ba kanang mga mute good na mga person mag hand gesture sila maningkamot tagkuan kana understand kung silang pasabot how much more kung napakay kanang voice na maingon or napakay sound na ma-produce just like kanang mga hungo na person. So we are trying to understand what they're trying to say to, but how much more or how much effort we extend kung kabalot ta how mo storya ang tao pero grammatically correct, di ba? So um, both uh, intellectual o kanang appropriate or appropriacy sa pagbasa appropriacy mas na siya kanang being appropriate kayo ba like how intellectual you are and being appropriate you are dira mo sulod ang grammar. Okay, in order for you not to be confused you need to know grammar. uh, if you are reading like kapila na sentence class like tayo example nagpa-exam ang yung teacher then number 30 nakatong lisod-lisod kay grabing balik-balik nimo wa jud ka kasabot sa question. So probably one reason is na ay off sa construction sa sentence. Number two is maglisod lang jud kag sabot so nara dira sa duha. So what you need to do is diri mo sulod ang fine tuning argument. The reason why we need to understand grammar like deeply and deeply is para makuha na to ma-correct na to ang mga ambiguity ug mga doubt while looking, while reading, while listening, while watching with the language. Okay, so I hope you get it. And what's next? Number three, the fossilization argument. So fossilize or fossilizes. So as we read, without grammar, learners fossilize earlier. Grammar helps you to achieve a high level. Yes, that's true. That's why we need to teach grammar. So in here, the fossilization argument, it is possible for highly motivated learners. Labi na ka ng mga motivated jud kaayo with a particular aptitude for languages to achieve amazing levels of proficiency without any formal study. So basically, ang meaning man good sa sa fossilized class kay asaha ikaw ano na ako? Fossilize. Basta to. Fossilize is sama siya fossilization. Fossil. Sa kadjut lang dito class ha. Okay class, nakuha na nako ang meaning sa fossilization in terms of uh, language learning. Fossilization refers to the process in which incorrect language becomes a habit and cannot easily be corrected. So, ang isa ka example ana is katong during sa pagkabata nato, we natay like ano ba? Natay kanang what you call that one? Natay difficulty to progress tungod kay natay mga na-learn sa una na wala ta nakaano, wala formal study like gitudlo lang sa tong lola, gitudlo lang sa tong lolo, gitudlo lang sa ato ang magpapa na dili siya formal, dili siya sa school giagi man what happened is it becomes a habit, and it cannot be easily corrected. Like lisod na kayo noon baguhon sa to tungod kay nahabit naman nato ang isa kuan ba, nahabit na nato ang isa gud ka mali na na-achieve last time. So how about right now, uh, can you think an example na kanang ano, na kanang mo ni ang gitulo sa inyo ha, sa una pa, pero pag abot niyo sa college or pag abot niyo sa high school, inani day ang result, like inani day ang tama, di ba? Especially kana mga pagbasa. For example, ana kay kuan kanang sa may mga list basahon na mm, sa man sa may mga list basahon, or kana ng mga lyrics na lang, like anang sorry, na yung mga songs na pataka-taka ratag kuan, pataka-taka ratag kanta man, naanad na tawa, naanad na tag mo niyang kuan, ganahan kita mo kanta man, pag abot sa video kihan, alam mo din yung lyrics di ay. So na fossilized nimo ang imuhang kuan ba, ang imuhang competency tungod kay naanad ka man. It is really difficult for you to make a progress tungod kay naanad man ka, ana siya ba. So to put into technicality, your linguistic competence fossilizes, and researchers linguistics suggest na in order for you to defossilize, or what should I say, um, like correct your wrong habit, you need to learn grammar. Okay. So next, number 4, the advanced organizer argument. So advanced, then organizer. So what is it? So let's read. Noticing is a prerequisite for acquisition. Grammar acts. Naka-record ba ni? Okay. Uh, Grammar acts as a kind of advanced organizer for later acquisition. So unsa kay na siya? So basically, nado tay noticing. Unsa ang noticing? We need to read, or we need to notice language or words or forms. So the advanced organizer argument, uh, this is the grammar instruction might also have a delayed effect. So delayed effect daw siya. Saan man ni ha? Kontahin, ano na lang. Na example diri. The researcher Richard Schmidt kept a diary of his experience learning Portuguese in Brazil. And initially, he had enrolled in formal language classes where there was a heavy emphasis on grammar. So, nag-enroll daw siya sa Brazil to learn Portuguese. Then, ang school nila, kay naay kanang grabe kay ko critical og emphasis sa grammar. Then, when he subsequently left these classes to travel in Brazil, his Portuguese made good progress. A fact he attributed to the use he was making of. Like since nakaano man siya, though moto nakaano na siya, naka eskwela na siya. Then during sa ano, so tungod nahuman na siya klase, like ang mga siguro mga pag-learn, ang mga acquisition na kay mga pila naman na kay years. So untahay nag-travel na ka back and forth. Dili mo mabantayan, pero na siya delayed effect, like uh, maging natural na lang ka, or natural na lang ka when you talk about kuan these languages. Okay. However, that researcher Richard, he interacted naturally with Brazilians. He was aware that certain features of the talk, certain grammatical items seemed to catch his attention. So nakita niya na uy, uh, kuan ba kanang mo ni ang feature sa ilang pagstorya. Like example, mga Hilonggo, di ba? Na sila yung mga kuan, sila yung mga I don't know si tawagin ng mga intonation siguro or accent na ano, na manotice gyud nato ba. So it happened that these items were also items na gistudyhan din niya sa klase. So nakita niya, uy, mo man iyang kuan no, kanang intonation no. So naman to sa akong klase, so nakaana siya. What's more is being more noticeable, these items seem to stick. So nasa ni kalitra balik na pod siyang utok na pod. And that is mo na ang noticing. Like uh, noticing is a prerequisite for acquisition. Like during sa pag though though na ay mga times na maglisod kag acquire sa language, like especially sa grammar, you tried everything to understand this one, but you failed. However, nag-discuss na pod mo next day, then your teacher presented examples, or your classmates um, gave examples. So, na-notice nimo na, hala, okay, na-gets na ako. Guys, thank you kayo. So, that is the advanced organizer argument. Uh, the reason why it is advanced organizer from the word itself, um, the organizer is the thing that nabantayan nimo. So, naging advanced ka tungod sa organizer. Like, the noticing that you have done is a prerequisite for the acquisition. So, though na kay mga nalisdan before, during sa klase, but since nakadungog ka mga examples and you learned from it, and na-notice nimo na, uy, muuman din akong kailangan para masabtan. So, that's the advanced organizer argument. And the grammar teaching na imong na-receive bag-o lang, is dili kayo sufficient ba para ma-learn good to nimo na language. Pero since naaman kay nakita na notice bag-o lang, like katong example sa mo teacher, so na-learn nimo siya, and that's the reason why it is a delayed effect. Okay, so it had acted as a kind of advanced organizer for your later acquisition of the language. Okay, so I hope everyone got it. So that's it. How about another one? We have dito sa ano, asa man tad, ay ayo sa ning curriculum class ha, kay ang ay sa mali. Ang curriculum man good is basically kanang ay unya na lang na ako i-explain ang curriculum, okay? So ang curriculum man good involve man good ang institution or organization, or kanang like curriculalists, or ang mga researchers, or mga kanang ano, mga sa tawagan na ha, um, mga linguist. So dili pa man ta inanan na stage, so unya na to na ko i-discuss, okay? But let's go with the discrete item argument. So discrete item argument, we have categories is equals to discrete items. Language is equals to gigantic shapeless mass. Categories make language digestible. Okay, so that's very good. Language seen from outside can seem to be gigantic, shapeless mass presenting an insuperable challenge for the learner. Like, um, kung tahay first day of school nimo, um, your teacher mentioned or discusses the topics that you will be studying the rest of the semester, and that is the gigantic mo na siya ang shapeless mass na hala dako asa kung dapat i-learn, or man isod kay ang subject, or especially kana go mag MA na mo, like mag-masters na mo ba, magmasteral na mo para sa specific kanang specialization. So kung tahay ako, wala pa man jud ko nag-MA, pero I would choose like management para sooner or later, though dili ko magtudlo, pero I'm still sa DepEd, or I'm still sa sa organization, maybe mag-principal ko, or mag-president ko, or mag-inani. So it really depends on you, but let's go with the discrete item argument. Na kay dako na kayo i-learn during sa masters nimo na labag o maginis ako, ba o kabalo ani. Okay? So that is the big challenge as a learner. And because of grammar consists of like set of rules, it can help you to reduce the language learning task na imuhang ma-encounter. Like, uy, kanang I know that this grammar will help me, but it is just in your subconscious. wala nimo siya giingon. Pero as you read your topics, as you study your topics, it helps you to realize and to understand these topics, like these gigantic shapeless mass information, like by tidying language up and organizing it into neat categories, or ang kaning mga neat na mga categories, these okay, I hope everyone hear me again. um na change ako ang microphone, tanggal. Okay, so um asa na to? Okay, those neat categories or those discrete items, these are these are the items na uh, maybe last time pa pattern na nag-create or maybe gi-create nimo. So, example ana is the language itself. Lisod kayo i-learn ang language kung tayo gusto ka mag-learn ng English. Man Bisaya kang dako, like gikan yung ka sa bukid. Though it is not like discriminating, but some of us here, even ako gikan ko sa bukid. Though dili kay bukid ang mainit na bunturan, pero still still bukid to. Kaya di mo to syudad. Inana ba? So my point in here is uh, we we travel far away to study. Then we are trying to understand or to study, to become more fluent, to become more understandable using our second language, or what we call the English language, and that is a large amount of information to study. But because of these discrete items, like um, the parts of speech, the SVA, the definite article, the noun pronoun, the all of the rules. Those are the discrete items. Those are the neat categories. So it is easier for us to understand. No, though dili ka siya inana ka easier, pero at least we have paths to take. We have direction. We have um, definite path or definite category to learn step by step. Dilita pointless, aimless, or directionless. So we got one direction, one D in another class. Okay. So the discrete item argument is any unit of grammar system that is sufficiently, like sufficient kesha, defined to form the focus of a lesson. So just like right now, I am in order for us to learn the reason or the importance of learning grammar, this is my discrete item that I discuss the importance by numbering it or by putting it in a tree diagram. Okay, so that's the discrete item. Next, the rule of law argument. This one. So the law of argument, rule of law argument. Grammar offers the teacher a structured system. Wow, structured system. Dapat maging thankful mo sa grammar, mga teacher. Teacher man ko, thank you, grammar. Next, it can be taught and tested. Yes, that's very true. And there are lisod na paglit ako methods or steps that we can follow. Okay? So that is so simple. The rule of law, it follows from discrete item argument. So since natay discrete item argument, musunod ang rule of law. Like, kung ang discrete item argument, ang foundation, the reason why we have categories in language, ang rule of law ang mag-follow na mo ni ang mga items na dapat nato buhatan og law para maging effective sa learning and teaching. And this is called transmission. Okay? Be reminded of that. A transmission view or sees the role of education as the transfer of body of knowledge. Like the education is like the tool, like sila key of success, but education is the tool in order for us to learn, or not just about to learn, but to be a human, because human has language, human can understand, human can talk, human can can cry, can understand. So that's how it is. So in the rule of grammar, grammar is our key to success, and grammar is our discrete item. And there are rules of grammar, and these rules are called the rule of law argument. Okay, so the needs for rules, orders, and discipline is particularly acute in large classes of unruly and unmotivated teenagers. Di ba kung naa kay mga papadlong na klase, you need to set rules. So, the reason na naa kay mga papadlong ng mga estudyante tungod kay these students are diverse. What you need to do is, for example, when we talk about language, language really is diverse in learning. There's a lot of things we need to learn in learning a language. So what you need to do is you need to put rule, you need to put order, you need to discipline. So dili ka diretso mo learn og, 'di ba? It's so funny but this is realistic. Dili ka makabuhat og research kung wa ka kaila og mga words, 'di ba? Lain po during sa pagkabata nimo mag pa-research siya like 5-year-old pa ka. Okay na, pagkahuman nimo dula buhat kag research about kon ha, about kanang uh, transmission of language from uh, language 1 to language 2. And so, di ba, dili? So, maybe makabuhat kag research mga around middle 20 or early 20, or it depends when you actually realize or learn the specific details in order for you to create or to write or to make research. Or what should I say? What should I say is we have structured system na pwede na to matudlo o pwede na to ma-learn o pwede na to ma-test using methods. So kanina mga system is rule of law argument. So as a teacher, uh, it's really good that we have grammar, and these grammars are structured. And what we just need to do is we need to teach them because we already have the discrete item and we already have the rule of law, and the lacking is we need to teach them. So teach them so that it can be tested. But the point of teaching and tested is not about the teacher's end, but as a student, you need to also follow the rule of law. So you need to study also. Okay. So that's the rule of law. Next is this one, the learner expectation argument. So learner expectation. Learner, itong mga estudyante, as a future educator, you need to envision yourself na you have learners. An expectation is the expectation kung unsay mo ang gusto like ma-achieve your goal inana siya. So let's read. Uh, Learner expect grammar and learner needs grammar. So that's the expectation overall. But learners need grammar, but we have lots of learners. Natay mathematical, visual, kinesthetic, musical, linguistic, interpersonal, naturalistic, existential learners. So what should we do? So right now, regardless of the theories and ideas and arguments for or against grammar teaching, like bisan pag unsa ang imong mga doubts and questions about how to teach grammar, or why you haven't teach grammar, or what should we be teaching in this grammar, many learners, teachers, individuals come to language classes with fairly fixed expectation as as to what they will do there, 'di ba? So this expectation may derive from previous classroom experience of language learning. So kung tahay itong high school pa ka wa kay mo natudloan og grammar, so nag-expect ka pagka third year nimo dapat makatuon na jud ka kay ulan na kay pagka college wag gyapon kakatuon og grammar, di ba? So that's the expectation. Then um, they may also derive from experience of classroom in general, where like traditional, like sa una, ang traditional sa una is basa lang man, piti ang blackboard kung di ka kabalo mabasa, bunalan ka kung di ka kabalo mabasa, di ba? Inana sa una. So right now, since we are in this like blooming blooming stage century, like with this fast changing environment, and like we are going to target language culture in a classroom setting. And as a teacher and as a future educator, you need to teach grammar. But right now, if you are not listening to this one, if you are not studying, or di bisan ako, though gamay ra akong nahatag tungod kay grabe kada ko ang grammar, on your end, kung wala kay ka nagbasa, or wala kay like wala jud kay will to read, wala kay will to study, it's so frustrating. Moabot ang adlaw na you are the person, like parehas ako karon na mag-teach og grammar, pero ang kalayan is since wala ka naminaw last time, maglisod kag klase. Maglisod ka unsa pa ni og klase, because I haven't received this information last time. Or maybe I haven't received it pero natulog man ko, or wa ko nagbasa, wa ko nagtan-aw, wala ko naminaw, inana siya. So it's really frustrating on your end, labi nag teacher na kapohon, kung dili kung maglisod ka teach ani na grammar, man basically you have to teach them. Okay? So lastly, we go to curriculum na ginatawag na horizontal alignment and vertical alignment. So pag vertical alignment, um, naay grammar na i-teach na to from elementary. Ang mga grammar na i-teach na to is, what is your name? So whole kuan siguro, whole ka ng 2 months, what is your name? Pag sulatan og name, mao ginatanan. So pagka elementary, ay kindergarten dito guys. So pagka elementary nimo, talk na mo about kuan kanang what are nouns. So nouns grade 1 nouns mo, grade 2 verbs mo, grade 3 sentence mo. Inana ba? So na siya step by step. Then pagka high school ninyo, na naman sentence construction, writing essay, writing like inani, man pagka college ninyo, research na mo, mga thesis making na mo. So dira masud ang curriculum. As a teacher, you must follow a curriculum, and curriculum is a must, because in a curriculum you have to like ideally teach students in context, like kung tahay teacher ka pero na-assign secondary teacher ka ha, pero na-assign ka katong sa DepEd, nag-apply ka man, na-assign ka sa ano sa grade 7 man, dili kay ka into mga bata, kay gusto unta ka mga senior high ana ba. So imong buhaton is you need to follow the curriculum, since mga bata man wa ka naanad sa mga bata, you need to adjust. Then all of your like imuhang level, kung feel nimo terror kay ka, feel nimo bright kay ka, or feel nimo hard kay ka, na kanang like kuan ba, like no, don't do that. You are a worse teacher. What you should do is uh, get to the curriculum and feel your students and try to adjust to their levels. So if you have seen that their level are really like beginners, they don't know what are verbs, noun, something, then you must lay your fingers on them. You must consistently and constantly remind yourself na be patient, then contextualize your lessons. Maging bata kasi mong lessons, di maging bata, kundi maging friendly ka sa level nila. Then you need to teach them appropriate learning. Dili ka, since wala pa man ka sila kabalo og nouns, why not mo balik kag noun? Dili ka mo ditso og kuan, pronoun ditso, or dili ka mo ditso og kuan, sentence making. Kay wala pa man sila kaila og noun, okay? So since kay wala pa sila kaila og noun, dili pud ka diretso mo ingon sa ilaha na kuan na okay, first meeting na to, assignment dito. So wala, that's really bad. How can you give assignments? In fact, when you give assignments, you should kanang uh, thought before that. Like dapat nag-discuss ka before that, or magpa-quiz ka during sa first lesson. So you need to be like a good role model, and that's the reason why we need to teach grammar. We need to adjust with the curriculum, and curriculum is a must to be followed. Okay, so in this video, dira lang mag-end ang ako ang video. I will magkaon sa ako bitaw magkaon sa ko guys, then ano, then I will send another video with regards to kaning ano, daghan pa kanina pages, what are the ways in order for us to teach grammar, like daghan kina way. Okay, so everyone, I hope you understand my lesson for today. Thank you very much. Have a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, and ciao.